Assalamu
Walaikum assalam, Turhan. Okay, so I have shared my whiteboard. Okay, so let's talk about the next chapter, that is function notation. Okay, let's talk about functions first. Now, this is very, very easy, and we would be able to complete this in this class. Okay, let's talk about functions. Okay, now in maths, we have different types of functions, right? At times we are dealing with algebra. For example, we have 2x plus 1 equals something, let's say 3. Then at times we talk about trigonometry. So there we write it down this way. Sine x equals, something 0.5. All these are functions, right? So basically, if I talk about the basic idea of a function, let's start our discussion with this. Let's say this is a function and it is equal to 3x plus 1. Okay. Now, the name of the function is f. The name could be g of x as well. Let's say this is 2x plus 2. I'm just writing down some random examples. Okay. What if I have h of x equals minus 2x plus 8? All these are different examples of functions. This function has name f, this function has name g, this function has name h. This thing that is written in bracket is basically telling you that this is a function of x, that the variable inside this function is x. For example, if I write f of y, how would you interpret this? The function is basically called f, and the variable inside this function is y. So that would be 3y plus 1. This is the variable. For example, if I say h of y, the variable would be y. Okay, so it would be any function that has y in it, right? So f, g, h, these are the names of the function. X and y are the variables inside the function, right? So this is the basic idea about functions. Now, let's discuss this. Think about it this way. That your function is basically a process, okay? It is f of x. I will plug in some value of x, let's say x equals 2, and I will get a value out, and that value would basically be 3 into 2 plus 1, that is 7. Yes,
7.
Turhan? Yeah, okay, very good. So this is what functions are, right? We input a value, we get an output. So yeah, that is the basic idea. Very good. Okay. Um, let's talk about some examples. Then we'll discuss more concepts about functions. Okay. So let's say we have been told that we have 3 functions. So it is f of x equals 3x plus 1. Then you have been told that g of x is x minus 8. And then a of s is s multiplied by s, okay? And you have been asked to compute the values of f of 2, and g of 9, and a of 4. Okay, now these are some questions. You need to find these 3. So if I talk about f of 2, how am I going to do it? f of x is 3x plus 2. So I'll simply do it this way. F of 2 would be 3 into, instead of x, I'll plug in the value of x, that is 2. Okay, so this would be 7. Now, if I talk about g of 9, again, this would be x minus 8. So that is 9 minus 8, that would be 1. The only difference is that here in my example, I have 9 instead of x. So instead of x, I am going to use 9. Let's talk about the third one. So I have 4. So a of 4 is going to be 4 multiplied by 4, that is 16. So this is how we compute the value of functions for certain values of the variable. In this example, s is the variable, right? So did you understand the concept?
Yes.
Okay, let's,
Yes.
all right. Let's say we have another example that says f of x is x square plus 2x plus 3. Find the value of f of minus 3. So can you please tell me the value of f of minus 3?
18.
And what about you, Saneem? Are you getting the same answer?
I got 6.
Uh,
Okay, so let's check. Okay, the answer is 6. It's okay if Turhan, you got 18. Basically, we need to be very careful with the sign, right? So I will write down minus 3 instead of x. I will square this plus 2 and then minus 3 plus 3. I know that the square of any negative number is positive. So minus 3 multiplied by minus 3, minus into minus would be plus, 3 into 3 would be 9. So it is 9, and then 2 into minus 3 is minus 6, and then plus 3 as it is. So this is going to give me 3 plus 3, that is 6. So the answer is 6. Okay, very good. Uh, let's talk about some more examples. So what if f of x is x square plus 6? Find the value of minus 3 and f of t. Now this is the next question. Let's do that together. So again, f of minus 3 means the only difference is I will plug in minus 3 instead of x. So square of any negative number is positive. Minus 3 square would be 9 plus 6, that is 15. And what about t? Instead of x, I will have t now. So t square plus x, and this is the answer, right? That is it. Okay, that is good. Let's talk about a question. Okay, what if you have been told that this is the statement, f of x is 2x plus 3, and you have been told that given that f of t is 11, find the value of t. Okay. Now in this question, this is the function. This is the condition which we have been told that f of t equals 11. Let me rewrite it. So we will first find f of t. F of t is nothing but the same thing. The only difference is that I will replace x and t. And we have been told that f of t equals 11. So now I have an equation in which t is the only variable. So I can easily calculate the value of t by making t the subject. So that would be 2t equals 11 minus 3, and t would be 8 by 2, and t is 4. This is the answer, right? So did you understand this, all of you?
Yes.
Like both of you? Yes, Turhan? Turhan, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, that's good. Then I have another example. So it says, f of x is 7x minus 4. Given that f of 4 is k plus 3, find the value of k. Yes, so I want both of you to try this and let's see if you are able to get the correct answer or not.
I got 21.
And what about you, Turhan? Okay, I was not able to hear you. Right, so let's do it together. So it says f of x equals 7x minus 4. Given that this is your condition, f of 4 is going to be 7 into 4 minus 4, that is 28 minus 4, and we are going to get 24. And we have been told that f of 4 equals k plus 3. So f of 4, that is 24, equals k plus 3. So what do we have? This is what we have. This is an equation with k as the only unknown variable. So we can easily find that. 24 minus 3 equals k. This means that k is 21. This is the answer, right? Okay, let's talk about another example now. And all these examples are very important because they're just like the past paper questions. So what if we have g of x equals 9x minus 4? Given that g of t equals t, find the value of t. Okay, let's talk about the solution now. This is the condition. G of t equals t. So what is g of t? G of t is 9 into, instead of x, we will plug in the value of t, that is t minus 4, and this equals t, okay? So this is 9t minus 4 equals t. Again, we have an equation with t as the only unknown variable. So I will make t the subject, and I am going to get 90 minus t equals 4, 80 equals 4, and t is 1 by 2. So this is the answer. Turhan, did you understand this?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Let's talk about another example. This time we have f of x equals 3x minus 7. And you have been told that f of k is 2k plus 4. Then find k. Okay. Give this a try and tell me your answers. Okay. You can just type the answers in the chat box. Okay. And what about you, Turhan? Just take 2 more minutes and then tell me the answer. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Both the answers are not correct. Then your answer is close, but the sign is different. And let's see. Okay. So, okay. So this is what we have, and this is the condition, right? So let's just write down f of k first. F of k is going to be 3 into the value of x, that is k in this case, that is k, minus 7. So this is 3k minus 7. And we know that f of k equals 2k plus 4. So I can write it as f of k that turned out to be 3k minus 7 equals 2k plus 4. My equation is this. So I can write it as 3k minus 7 equals 2k plus 4. I'll take 2k to this side, I'll take 7 to the other side. And this is going to give me 3k minus 2k equals 7 plus 4. So k equals 11. This was the actual answer. So did you understand, both of you?
Yes.
Yes, Turhan, what about you?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, good. Okay. Let's talk about another question. Let's say this time the question is that f of x equals 3x minus 9, and you have been told that 2 times f of s is s plus 10. So find the value of s. Okay, let's do it together. So this time, this is the condition. We have 2 that is being multiplied with f of s. Okay, so I will write it down this way: 2. And what is f of s? F of s is the exact same thing, but the only difference would be that instead of x, I will have s. 3s minus 9, and this thing equals this part, that is s plus 10. I can multiply 2 with this. This would give me 6s, and I can multiply this with this one. This will give me minus 18 equals s plus 10. I'll take this to this side and this to the other side, and this will give me 6s minus s equals 10 plus 18. 5s equals 28, and s would be 28 divided by 5. So you can either find the answer in decimals or in mixed numbers. That's completely your choice. And it is 5.6. So is this correct? And did you guys understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about you, Turhan? Please tell me. Yes, Turhan, are you there? Okay. Uh, let's talk about the last question, and then we'll talk about inverse functions. It says, this is a past paper question. Function is defined as f of x equals 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. Part A says find f of 7. Part B says find f of x plus 3. These are the 2 parts of this question. So I want you guys to start your working and tell me the values for both A and B. Yes, are you guys able to do this? Okay, I got an answer from Saneem. And what about the second part? And what about you, Turhan? I'm waiting for your response as well.
Yes, I'm sending a 1 second.
Okay.
Typing.
All right, all right, all right.
For second part, I got 3x squared plus 4x plus 16.
Okay, all right. Let's do it. First part is correct. The second one is a bit different than the answer. Okay. So f of 7 is this. We need to plug in 7 everywhere we have x. So that would be square minus 2 into 7 plus 1. This is 3 into 49 minus 2 into 7 is 14 plus 1. And this is going to give you 134. That is correct. For the B part, again, it's simple. F of x plus 3. Instead of x, I have x plus 3. So instead of x, I will plug in x plus 3 everywhere. This is going to give me 3 into x.
Yeah, so you just, why don't we just add the part A with 3?
Part A with B?
Yeah, part A plus 3.
No, we cannot do that. Oh, okay. I got your point. No. Look. Yeah, I got your point. Look. No, we cannot do that, okay? Here we have 7. When we will plug in 7, we will get a number as the answer, right? When we will plug in a variable, our answer is going to have that variable as well, okay? This is not f of x, this is f of 7. So we need to do f of x plus 3. For this, the only method is to plug in x plus 3 wherever you have x in the question. So I had x here, I plugged in x plus 3. I had x here, I plugged in x plus 3, okay? So x plus 3 square is what? This number square, that is square, plus 2 into x into 3 plus 3 square, that is 9, minus 2 into x, that would be 2x, minus 2 into 3, that would be minus 6 plus 1. This is 3x square plus 3 into 2x, that would be 6x into 3, that is 18x plus 3 into 9, that is 27, minus 2x minus 6 plus 1. And this is 3x square plus 16x plus 27 minus 6 plus 1. So this is going to give you 22 basically. So this is why, Saneem, your answer was a bit different, okay? So it's 22. So just understand the basic concept. And even if you have a number and even if you have a variable, the only difference would be that instead of x, you will now plug in this thing, right? Did you understand this now?
Yes.
And what about you, Turhan?
Yes, ma'am. And
Okay. All right. So yeah, that is good. Now let's talk about inverse, okay? So f of x is a function. The next topic is inverse of a function. This is what we need to talk about. Okay, so we define inverse of a function this way. F inverse x if f of x is a function, its inverse would be defined this way. If h of x is a function, its inverse would be defined this way. If g of x is a function, its inverse would be defined this way. So we are adding this, and then we are basically trying to talk about the inverse of any function, right? So this is the only difference. Never ever get confused with inverse of a function and a sum function directly. So f of 1, this is basically the function. F of minus 1, this is the function. G of 2, this is function. H of 3, this is function. F inverse of 1 is basically inverse function. F inverse of minus 1 is inverse function. We only need to focus on this thing. Okay, so for inverses, we have minus 1 in the power, right? That is how we define the inverse function, right? Okay, let's talk about how to find inverse of any function. So that was the basic idea about how to denote an inverse of a function. Let's talk about how to find it, okay? So let's say that the question is f of x equals 3x minus 7, and you have been asked to find f inverse x. Now, whatever the question is, we have a fixed set of rules which we will be following, okay? So let's talk about those rules here, and then we'll talk about this example. So for this, step number 1 is to replace f of x with y. Let's do step number 1. Step number 1 says replace f of x with y. So I have f of x equals 3x minus 7. I will replace f of x with y. So this means I will write it as y equals 3x minus 7. And we are done with the first step. Let's see what is step number 2. Make x the subject. So right now we have y equals 3x minus 7. Right now y is the subject. I need to make x the subject. For making x the subject, I will separate x on one side. How will I do that? I'll take this minus 7 to the other side. I'll take this 3 to the other side. How am I going to do it? I'll do it stepwise. So I will get y plus 7 equals 3x. And finally, I will divide this 3 to the other side. So that will give me y plus 7 divided by 3 equals x. Okay. So now I can rewrite it and x is the subject. X equals y plus 7 divided by 3. Okay. So finally, I am done with the step 2 as well. And let's see what is step number 3. Step number 3 says now make 2 changes. Okay. Replace x with f inverse of x and y with x. Okay. So at the moment, I have x equals y plus 7 divided by 3. I need to make 2 changes. Step 1, replace x with f inverse x. So in this equation, I have x over here. I will write down f inverse of x here. And instead of y, I'll write down x. And this is the answer. So we started here and we have ended here. Now I'll tell you, okay? These rules are basically for every question. Whenever you have been given with the function and you have been asked to find f inverse of x, this is what you will do. Step 1, replace f of x with y. So we had f of x here. I have written the same equation and the only difference is that I have y here because that was the first step. So I'm done with the first step. For the second step, I need to make X the subject. So at the moment, Y is the subject. For making X the subject, I'll separate it. I'll take everything to the other side, and that is going to give me Y plus 7 equals 3X. And finally, this is going to be an equation where X is the subject. So I've rewritten this way, right? Just so it's more understandable. Last step is you need to make two changes. Replace X with F inverse of X and replace Y with X. So for X, this is what we do. It says X equals Y plus 7 divided by 3. Instead of X, I need to write F inverse of X. So I've written that. And instead of Y, I need to write X, right? So this would be the F inverse function of F of X. So are you guys okay with this?
Yes, ma'am.
What about you, Turhan? Please tell me.
Yes.
Okay, then let's talk about the last example for today. So it says f of x is 2x plus 7. What is f inverse of x? Again, we don't know anything. We will just follow the steps, okay? Step 1 was to replace f of x with y. So I will write this as y equals 2x plus 7. Step 2 was to make x the subject. So I will separate x. It would become y minus 7 equals 2x, and then x would be y minus 7 divided by 2. And then in the last step, I will replace x with f inverse of x, and I will replace y with x. And this is the answer, right? So that is how we find f inverse of x. So did you understand this, both of you?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Then I have a question for you guys, and then that's it. What if f of x is x cubed plus 4? Tell me the value of f inverse of 12. Yeah, this is the question. Okay, so Neem is getting 2 as the answer. And what about you, Turhan?
Yeah, I got the same as well.
Okay, so how do we do this? Basically, step 1 is to write it as y equals x cubed plus 4. We need to make x the subject. Y minus 4 cube root 3 equals x. And then just replace it with this f inverse of x equals cube root x minus 4. Let's plug in 12, and that will give us cube root 12 minus 4. And this would be 8 cube root, that is 2. So it is correct. Very good. Well done. So anything that you would like to ask that you have not understood in this lecture? Both of you?
No, ma'am.
And what about you, Turhan?
Yes, ma'am.